Well, howdy, my friends. Holy moly, we're rolling. I am leaving Detroit. I just dropped off my brother-in-law, and I'm driving in his car. What do you guys know? What do you guys know? Oh, geez, I have no idea what I'm gonna do here with regards to the vlog. But whatever the case, I've decided to buy a van. I think that my tour may not be able to exist the way it has existed with the trike and everything, and I made some decisions, and I'm on my way to drive out to take a look at a van which will be converted into a Vanlife van. And I think that whether the trike stays or not, I think that we will be in a van. I think I can create a van that has a video editing studio, has a bed, has a little kitchenette, has all the amenities, has a little garage for my trike. And I think that that would be, in a few ways, a better way to go from this point forward, especially in this present post-COVID world. Anyways, I'm driving out to a car lot that has a few vans that I have been eyeballing, and we're gonna see. Oh, that one's a nice van. We're gonna take a look at them and maybe buy a van today. JaYoe, I'm driving down through downtown Detroit right now, and we're gonna get on the highway, and we got a couple hours to kill. JaYoe. Detroit. Beautiful old houses. Detroit. Oh, Slows. That is a great place for barbecue. My first self-pump gas since back from China. In China, there's full service. Everybody pumps your gas for you. There's a few gas stations where you pump your own gas, but most of the time it's you doing it. Yeah, so I've decided that I've decided a lot of things, actually. I don't even know what you guys know about this decision, but to sum it up, I'm normally cycling around the world on a trike, or trying to. Pandemics, deaths in the family, any number of things have paused it, but that was the intention. In America, it's a little bit, safety on the road is a concern. Cycling the same roads in America that I might ride in China, well, riding a trike in Asia is a lot safer, I think. Whereas people here, they're a driving culture. They're not quite a cycling culture. So I was a little nervous about safety. Hello. But so I still want to cycle, but I'm a little bit nervous about covering the big distances. If I could get a truck or a van that I could live on that could take me from one place to the other, that would be great. The other thing is a night stay. In Asia, you can buy hostels for $10, $12. I looked at my booking.com reservations for the tour so far. It was amazing. Can't quite get those deals here. Okay, so while I get back on the road and head towards the auto lot, I need to fill in a few. I'm editing the video right now, and it is September 2nd as I'm editing this, and I realize that if you're watching this video, there's a lot of like disjointedness. So let me try to even things out before I get and start driving the vans that I was taking a look at. So I was originally trying to buy a SUV in America. My objective was to arrive, buy a vehicle, drive to Las Vegas, and live with my friend Matt until we started traveling and my trike arrived and we could do just some different things. When I started looking at the used car market, I realized that this is the worst time to buy a vehicle. And I was shopping for SUVs and finding out that you couldn't buy a used SUV for under like $30,000 in many cases, something reliable with low miles and whatnot. I was thinking that I could pick something up for under $10,000. That was just very naive of me. And I realized that because there was a chip shortage coming from China to actually get new cars on the road, people were turning to the used car market to buy. And so the used car market was driven by supply and demand, and the demand was high and the supply was low. And so the price went way up. And I found that I was being priced out of what I thought I wanted to pay for a mode of transportation. And then I started thinking about the idea of my tour and the fact that it was getting difficult to get my trike back. I didn't know when I was going to get my trike back. I'm going to make sure that I don't go any far forward beyond the point that you're watching, because I don't want to like spoil anything, because I do have some cool videos coming up that will tell more of the tale. But I do need to kind of fill this in because I'm editing and I'm like, people aren't going to know what the hell's going on. So I started looking at different vehicles. Everything was out of my price range. And I was trying to justify paying more for a different type of vehicle, you know. And I started to investigate different things, and I started investigating something called Vanlife, which was a new kind of thing that has been kind of gaining traction, a lifestyle choice. And many people have lost their jobs, many people have gotten in tough situations, and they're turning to life on the road, or maybe working remotely because of the pandemic and all of these things. And so they've been fixing up these vans to live in, as opposed to a RV. It was a van. It was something that they could drive around. It was something that could be something that they could live in, something that they could work in, and something that they could use as transportation. It solved three problems. And so if I was going to pay more for a vehicle, maybe I could justify that increased amount of money by taking care of those three necessities: editing videos and publishing videos and things from the van, living in the van as a home on wheels, as well as a transportation vehicle to get around. And with my apprehension of cycling here in the United States being so high, my friend James Dobson was killed, sadly, while he was riding the similar trike that I ride around the world. And I didn't want to be another statistic. And I was thinking, if I had a home on wheels that could store the trike, that I could take around to different places, then this could be a way that I could continue traveling around the world in a safe way. So I started looking at vehicles to fix up. Vanlife, in the United States at least, typically takes the form of three types of vans. There's the Dodge Promaster, there's the Ford Transit, and then there is the Mercedes Sprinter. These are the three very big, very spacious vans that can accommodate somebody that's interested in converting them into a living quarters. So I had found this van online a few days before, and I was calling to see if it was available. It was available, but these vans aren't perfect. A lot of them have been in accidents and been repaired, which is why they are a little bit cheaper. So without further ado, let's catch up with more of the vlog Matt as he approaches the used car lot, and I'll jump in from time to time to try to fill in blanks, because I was very haphazardly filming. It was more or less notes for myself, so that I could look back and say, okay, this van had this, okay, this van had this. But I do think it's nice to share this video so that you guys can see why I decided what I decided or didn't decide. So without further ado, I'll leave it back to me. All right, guys, I am in Grand Rapids, Michigan. There is a place called Broadmoor, and it's a used car lot, and it's got a couple of vans to look at. I'm pretty apprehensive. I'm a little nervous. I could spend more money right now than I've spent since I bought my house a long time ago, decades ago. But this is sort of like my house. Would be like my house.
600 meters, sharp left onto Michigan 37 North.
I'm still using meters, even though I'm in the States. But yeah, let's test drive some vehicles and see how she goes.
Sharp left onto Michigan 37 North, then your destination will be on the right. Your destination is on the right.
There it is. There's the van right there. So the vehicle that I had seen at this place was a Ford Promaster. Probably the cheapest version of these sort of van life vans. It was front wheel drive. It had a long cab, but it was the thing that I found on this lot's website that I was like, oh, this is interesting. So I'm going to take a look at that van and I'll give you my first impressions in the video. Okay guys, so I just drove this Ram Promaster and I'll just tell you a little bit about it. It handles really nice, but it's totally empty. Right now it's set up for like delivery services or something, so there's a bunch of shelves in the back. I'll show you in a second. The ad said navigation, heated seats, and all these additives. It doesn't have that, but it's a pretty basic build. It's got reverse cameras, but even the reverse cameras are it's low quality. The actual van is comfortable. The seat's comfortable. Let's see. Let's take a look in the back. Okay, so height-wise, I have in the middle, the highest point, I have 4 fingers over my head. And that's going to be taken up by interior, like the ceiling. Probably, you know, not that whole space. I'll still be able to stand up. But as I move over to the side, it gets less, so, but not too much. The good thing about these Ram Promasters is that the box is boxy. Like I said, it's got these shelves in it, so I'll have to take those out. This is no windows, no nothing, so I'd have to insert and put in all the windows and things. That's good. It's clean slate, really. Whatever I want. I'm looking, I don't see a lot of rust anywhere. It's got 30,000 miles. I don't see any big problems with regards to anything rusting there. The tires, good quality tires. So these doors fully open all the way, which is cool. I like that. Whoop. Don't like that. Okay, here you can see some, you can see where the roof sort of buckled a little bit. But I mean, I don't think it's a big deal. You can see here where they took and, you know, glued a new piece and bent this top part back. Actually, no, I'm sorry. This van, it's a little bit cheaper because, not because it got hit at the bottom, because it got hit on the roof here. Apparently, he probably backed into a opening that was not high enough, and so it buckled this part of the roof here, and you could see that it pulled away a little bit here, but it's still in one piece. And I can fix that actually, but they probably came through here and remolded this or replaced this. You can see actually it comes all the way down to here. You can see where they bent it out. Not a big deal though. I mean, as long as it's in there. I don't know, pretty cool. It's a lot. It's not as high as the Transit, the Ford Transit. They have a Ford Transit. I'm gonna give it a try. But this one is it's $35,000. It's got 31,500 miles. I mean, it's got a little wear and tear. Obviously, it was driven for for 35,000 miles. But I would take this whole thing out. Just a little bit of buckling right there. So I'm sure that this box got a little compressed. But I also think that I'm gonna cut a window in here. I'll have a window in there. I mean, I'm gonna be configuring this van. I'm also gonna put windows here in the back. So I didn't really talk about too much of my impressions of the driving of the Promaster. It drove pretty darn good when I drove it. The one difference between it and the other two models is its front wheel drive, which means it's pulling you as opposed to pushing you. In some cases it's good, in some cases it's bad. For Vanlife, because you're building your entire home in the back, there's a lot of weight that pulls down on the rear axle, and so I've been told that rear wheel drive is a more suitable choice for control when you're driving your home around. But I didn't have anything to base it on other than my dad's old work truck. It wasn't very old, but his dad was my dad's work truck when he was a plumber. And I've driven plenty of buses and big trucks in my life, and I thought, wow, this drives like a truck instead of a bus. That was one of my big notices from the Promaster. Now, when I parked it, adjacent to it was a white Ford Transit. It was a little bit shorter, but taller. And I asked the guy at the car lot if I could test that one out, because I wanted to get an idea of different vehicles. So we're going to go back to me sitting in the van and giving my points on first impressions of the Ford Transit being able to be converted into a potential home on wheels and studio. All right, guys, now we are driving in a Ford Transit. This is a bit more than the last one I just drove, but oh boy, is it nice. It drives a lot nicer. You can feel it's got a bit more oomph to it. This only has like 2,300 miles on it, so it's pretty I mean, the engine is basically new. The problem with this is that somebody hit the rear end, and you can kind of see a little bit of buckling there, but not much. It's been corrected. You can see also that I have a lot of room, as opposed to 4 fingers in the Ram. I have about 15 fingers, which is very nice for a guy like me. Now this is not as long as it could be. There's an extended version of this ride, but I like this one. I like this one a lot more than the Ram Promaster. It just feels like it's put together a little bit better. Okay, so here you have some marks here, some marks here. It looks like they pounded out at the door here, but there's no, probably if you take this panel off, you'll see some crumpling. And you've got some chipped paint here. And then you've got this piece here that was buckled. So you can see there that there was some maneuvering there. I honestly don't think that's as big a deal, especially if you look underneath. None of the actual important frame, you can see that bit right there, had some pounding out. It drives great though. It drives real nice. A window in here, kitchen there. Show you the engine. One of those places are brand new. Let's crank the spare tire up, which it does not have. So if this was my home, probably have the desk here to work, and then my bed would be there. Yeah. I can lay sideways here, I'm sure of it, because actually this bump hits my head. If I was to go here, this would be more of an accurate thing. Still, my head can't quite lay down, but my feet have about this much farther to go. If that went, I think I'd be able to lay down sideways in here. If I wanted to go long ways, I could lay down to the first seam here, and then I could sleep this way. That'd be fine. And then maybe the trike would go underneath. Like, the trike would be here. That's what I would think. Fold it up, it would take out about half. Take up this whole space here. All right, so after my look at the Ford Transit, it really helped color things. Obviously, the more that you drive, the more different models that you try, the more idea of what you want takes shape. Now, at this point in time, and a lot has changed since this video that you're watching as far as my mindset on things, but I'm trying to walk you through step by step. I knew a few things. I wanted something with a high roof. I wanted something that was long enough to fit not only a bedroom, a small kitchen, and a shower, but also an office and allow me to edit. I had been watching tons of videos on YouTube and seen a bunch of different styles and layouts. Kitchen wasn't as important to me as opposed to, say, a studio and a place to edit videos. And trike storage was also very important. I was thinking that I was going to store the trike inside the van underneath my bed in what is called a garage part of these vans. So I had really liked the Ford Transit. If you looked at both of them equally, if I could get the longer version of the Ford Transit, it would have the higher roof, and the driving experience was a lot better too. I had liked the Promaster, but as soon as I drove the Transit, it just felt more solid. The turning radius felt more sharp. It felt like it handled better. I could feel the idea of the rear end pushing me, and I didn't think that I actually liked the ride in the Promaster. And then I really liked the ride in the Transit, and I realized, wow, this is what happens when you have something different. The other thing that I really liked about the Transit was the layout of the dashboard. Because van life requires a lot of driving. You're going to be putting hundreds of miles on thousands of miles on this thing. You want to have something that's intuitive. I'm left-handed, and having that left-handed cup holder and having the intuitive functionality of the steering wheel and the radio and everything working together was also very nice. The seats were comfortable. Everything, all the boxes that I sort of wanted to check with a base van were checked with the Ford Transit. Now, I left the car lot not making a purchase that day. I just kind of was letting everything kind of work in my mind. I liked the Ford Transit, but they didn't have an extended version. And so I asked the owner of the shop to wait and see if something more was to come in. Funny side story, the owner of the place, when I first approached the used car lot, I met this guy, Mark, and he was just, here's the keys, take him for a ride. But when I came back and I introduced myself and told him what I was using the van for, that I was going to be taking this trike and amalgamating my journey so that I could like ride around the world, but also carry my trike with me and use the van as a mode of transportation. He's like, oh, I know what a recumbent trike is. I says, really? Yeah. He says, yeah, I've got one. And so he pulls up his phone and he shows me his trike, and we instantly had a connection, and it was kind of nice, actually, because it turned into a salesman's customer relationship, and we were sort of bonding on something that we had some sort of connection with. And so he was trying to go to bat for me, and he was telling me that the Mercedes Sprinter is also a popular van that people turn into these van life vans. And so I went home. It was another few-hour drive back home. I was driving my brother's pickup truck, and a couple of days or a day later, I found a Sprinter, but this time in a city called Ann Arbor. So I took another drive out to a Mercedes dealer in Ann Arbor. Now, it was very, very difficult to find these available. I mean, I had to drive hours and hours out just to see one vehicle that was available. And so this is my impression as I went out and test drove the Mercedes Sprinter the next day. I might actually do another video that's a little bit more cohesive about the 3 different styles of vans, but this was actually like on the ground first impression stuff, and I thought that was kind of nice to share with you guys. So I went to see this Mercedes Sprinter van. The Sprinter that I wanted was sold, actually. So instead, they had another one, but this one was not quite what I was looking for. It was a personnel carrier as opposed to a cargo van. And but I still got a chance to drive it and a chance to give my opinion on it. So I'll hand it again off to Matt, and he'll let you know what we thought. All right, guys, I am in Ann Arbor. I'm inside a Sprinter van, which is a Mercedes, and I'll tell you what, it's not that high. Of course, it's upholstered, so this is actually not the van I'd be in. The van I want is behind here, but it's sold already. This has actually got some seating and whatnot in it, an interior, but I'm gonna take it for a ride and see how it handles, and at least check some boxes. All right, so first impressions of the Sprinter van 170 WB 2500 is that the ceiling is not as high as I imagined it would be. They have another version that is higher roof, so maybe this is just the normal version, but it certainly isn't as spacious as I thought it would be. Deep, I mean cavernous. This is about the same as the longest Ford Transit that you could find. And the Ford Transit's roof is higher, so what does that mean? But rides nice. This is a diesel. Drives comfortably. The body is in great shape. Obviously, this is in a very good shape. So I don't know. Maybe I could get a fixer-upper and do more with it. I don't necessarily need something so new, I guess. Anyways, that's my thoughts on the Sprinter. Okay, so that's the end of the episode. In the next episode, you're going to see the van that I did end up buying. I took into consideration all 3 of these vans, and then I started to scour the internet. And it was kind of funny because I was scouring the internet looking for a van to convert and use for my future travel plans. I was coming up with different ideas for designs on the inside, consuming a hell of a lot of information on the internet, and I was also entertaining the idea of living in a bus and converting a school bus into a home on wheels. And I'll just go over that really quickly here, because it had kind of entered my brain for a number of days, because it was very cost effective. You can buy a bus or a shuttle bus very, very cheaply. There's a lot more space on the inside, and they're a little bit more robust. I mean, they're built to take kids to school, and so safety-wise, they got to be built sort of like a tank. Drawbacks is they're old and in many cases rickety. They're large and bulky, and so they take up a lot more space. It's hard to go off to Starbucks and grab a coffee on a bus. And thirdly, they're not very stealth. Everybody can see them, and it's not like you can hide in a parking lot and spend the night in different places that you might be able to do with Vanlife. Also, parking lots and things like that are a little bit less accessible. I did find a bunch of buses. As a matter of fact, even today, I'm still getting callbacks from people who I reached out to. I was very, very close to buying one of these buses, and there was a bus that was actually located in Ohio, in a used bus, one of the largest used bus lots in the United States. And I was planning to take a trip out there, and I was about to pull the trigger on another van I had my fingers in a lot of places. I am really gung-ho with this idea. I know that the progression of these videos don't show the daily activities, but day after day, I had looked more into these issues and more into the desire for this lifestyle in order to continue my tour around the world and propel me to new places and new interactions with people. And the van, or living mobily on a tool that can transport me quicker, safer, and with a living space inside it, just seemed more and more interesting, more and more capable, and more suitable to what I wanted to do, at least in the Americas, for the next few years. So I'm going to end this episode now. Next episode is going to start somewhat abruptly as I go and inspect my new van, which I purchased, and here we go, guys. It's pretty incredible. This is going to be an amazing next chapter of the JaYoe World Tour, and it's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit the same, and it's going to be a hell of a lot more sophisticated. So like, subscribe, share, comment. I know that you guys will comment. I think you've been commenting very vocally on the videos the last few days, and I'm expecting that as well. So my dad's clock. Boom. What time is it? Boom. 2, 3. Yeah, 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock p.m. Anyways, take it easy, guys. We'll catch you at the next one. And then we're going to have an amazing series of road trip videos with some beautiful drone footage and some really interesting travel footage. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. So we'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.